Can fibroids really turn into rock hard lumps in your uterus? Well, the short answer is yes. And if you have fibroids, this is something that you need to know about. Ladies, there has been a lot of talk about calcified fibroids going on in the community lately. And some have even said they've passed pieces of them through the so you know I had to do a deep dive for y'all. So if you've ever heard the term calcified fibroids and wondered what that actually means, in this video, I got you, girl. I'm going to be breaking down exactly what calcified fibroids are, how they develop, what they look like, how they can affect you, and the treatment options that are available. So if you want to learn more about this topic, you know what to do. Keep watching. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am GlamPreezy. If you are new here, hey girl, hey. I make videos about natural fibroid healing and more specifically about all the things that I've learned that have helped me to shrink my fibroids naturally. And if you are a returning subby, you know I love you. Thank you so much for returning for another video. If you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It is free. And I upload fibroid videos every single week that can help you on your fibroid healing journey. And if you are new here, I encourage you to go down in those comments and sound off. Not only am I very active in my comments, but I have a new series of videos inspired by the conversations going on in my comments. I'm going to be covering some of the most pressing topics that are going on down in those comments over the next few months. So you definitely want to be a part of that. So as you know, I've been on this natural fibroid healing journey for a little over 2 years now. And y'all know I do not play when it comes to fibroid facts. And on this topic, I have done the research, I've read the studies, and I even sat up late at night watching lectures on this topic. Yes, that's how much of a nerd I am. You see what I do for y'all? So come on in. We got some things to discuss. Now that we are up close and personal, you know I got a beverage. Today, I'm actually drinking a homemade anti-inflammatory juice. Let me take a sip and grab my notes. Let's get into it. What are calcified fibroids? Calcified fibroids are benign uterine tumors that have undergone a process of mineralization where calcium deposits accumulate within the fibroid tissue, causing them to harden over time. This typically occurs when a fibroid degenerates, meaning it loses its blood supply and begins to break down. But instead of being fully reabsorbed back into the body, it remains as a hardened, calcified mass. And some of us who are not as familiar with fibroids may be wondering, how do calcified fibroids differ from regular fibroids? A typical fibroid is soft, firm, but flexible, and can continue to grow under hormonal influence. In contrast, a calcified fibroid is rigid, dense, and no longer grows, but it also doesn't shrink or disappear on its own. Think of it like this. A normal fibroid is like a rubber ball, firm but pliable. A calcified fibroid is more like a stone, hard, dense, and unchanging. And I know you're wondering, what do they look like? Because I know I was. Calcified fibroids show up on imaging scans like ultrasounds or CT scans as dense white masses. And just a note, while CT scans are excellent for detecting dense calcifications in fibroids, MRI scans provide a more detailed view of the fibroid structure, blood supply or lack thereof, and whether there are any other underlying issues. And from my research, it looks like doctors often use MRIs to get a full picture of fibroid degeneration. Now back to how they look. I found this really interesting. Some calcified fibroids have a popcorn-like appearance due to their irregular calcification patterns, which, as you can see in this picture, make them look bumpy or fragmented. So how do they form? I know that was one of my #1 questions. And from my research, which I stayed up many late nights trying to understand this, it looks like there are 3 main causes. #1, hyaline degeneration. This happens when a fibroid grows too fast and outgrows its blood supply. And I can't say I'm mad at that. And instead of breaking down like a cystic fibroid, it hardens over time. Number 2, UFE, or uterine fibroid embolization, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with by now. UFE is a treatment or procedure that cuts off the fibroid's blood supply, causing it to shrink. But in some cases, they calcify after this procedure. And number 3, postmenopausal calcification. And if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, then you know that fibroids are an estrogen-dependent condition. As estrogen levels drop with age, fibroids that were once active can become inactive and calcify at the end of their life cycle. And I know you were wondering this, because I certainly was. How do they affect the women whose bodies they inhabitate? Now, this is where it gets interesting. Some women don't even know they have them because they can actually be asymptomatic, meaning they do not have any perceived side effects or symptoms from the calcified fibroids. But when they do cause problems, just like regular fibroids, they can trigger sharp pelvic pain, dysmenorrhea, or very painful periods, back pain and or pressure in the lower abdomen, infertility or even pregnancy complications, and heavy bleeding, amongst many other things. And yes, some women even reported passing small calcified fibroid fragments through their, I would love to say the technical term, but I don't want my video to get demonetized or suppressed. You know, we got enough issues with that around here. So you know what I'm talking about. It came out of where babies came out. Okay. And side note, I would like to mention that I did read quite a few things under this subject matter that said that if you are experiencing expelling of degenerated fibroid pieces, please go and see your doctor. And I would also like to note that I did read that this can present with discharge. As we have already spoken about on this channel, especially if you have discharge that smells or is discolored, you absolutely need to go and see a doctor immediately. You can get an infection in there, okay? Please, I want you guys to be safe and I want you guys to take this stuff seriously. I know that I be joking and I be, you know, we need a little humor, okay? We be going through it, but I need you to be serious about this. If you are passing anything, please go to the doctor. Please go to the doctor, okay? All right, so treatment options. Here is where I wish that I could really bring you some of my own really valuable natural healing knowledge, but unfortunately, there's not a lot that I am aware of naturally that can affect these at this point. But hold on, okay? I'm going to talk about what options that I did read about and what options that they do suggest for you to check out if you have calcified fibroids. So first things first, it is very important for you to know and be prepared for doctors encouraging you not to do anything about them if they are not causing you any issues. This seems to be the standard practice for doctors from what I can see. They have mostly said if they are not presenting with symptoms that are causing them problems, just leave it. Having had a foreign body in my uterus, I know how that feels, right? You don't really just want to leave it there, especially if it's large, right? But here are the other options, especially if they are causing you some major symptoms. This is a time when doctors will be more apt to give you treatment options, because if you say that they're not bothering you, they're most likely going to say, just leave them alone. You got two options, girl, from what I can see. Myomectomy, and it will most likely be an open myomectomy because I have watched the videos of doctors attempt to do this in other ways, and the fibroids are so hard that they can barely even cut through them with surgical tools, you guys. So an open myomectomy seems to be the most recommended procedure as far as actually removing them from your uterus and sparing your uterus. And of course, there's always the option of hysterectomy. I support you, whatever you want to do, but I am all for sparing the uterus. The uterus does have a function in our health as a whole and not just our fertility. So I think, in my personal opinion, I would try to hold on to my uterus as long as I could. That's me. I did see it noted in a couple of the studies that this is supposed to be last resort, but we know how doctors like to throw around hysterectomy. So if you are in this situation and you don't want a hysterectomy, please be aware that doctors probably will present you with this option, especially if you have a lot of issues from these calcified fibroids. Just a heads up. And as I said, right now, I have no good news in terms of natural options for you, but it is said that monitoring and lifestyle adjustments are recommended if you're not going to go for either of these. I'm just going to read this. While no natural remedies can reverse calcification, a diet rich in anti-inflammatory foods and balanced hormone levels may help manage symptoms and overall reproductive health, which we do know to be true. Ooh, child. So now that we've broken it all down, I need a favor from y'all. I want to hear from you on this topic. Have you ever been told that you had a calcified fibroid? Have you passed a calcified fibroid? Girl, if you have these, please get down in my comments below. We want to know all the things, because science can say whatever it wants to say. Doctors can say whatever they want to say on this topic, but you are living in your body, and your experience here is very valuable. Please get down in my comments and share your experiences, share your stories, and most of all, if you have any recommendations for nutrition or lifestyle changes that could help one of your sisters that have been diagnosed with calcified fibroids, please do not gatekeep. Go ahead and sound off in my comments. This is a safe space, and I advocate for women with fibroids of all sorts, but because I don't have personal experience with this, I'm very limited to what the science says and what doctors say, but I want to hear from what the girls have to say. Whew, that was serious, y'all. And please, go down in the description bar below and get this juice recipe, because this juice is bussin'. If you learned anything, please do me a favor and thumbs this video up and share this with somebody that you think might find it interesting or useful. And absolutely make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Girl, it's free, and it's the best thing you can do if you have fibroids, because I have a lot of information about fibroids coming at you every single week. Don't forget to comment down below. Even if you do not have calcified fibroids, I want to hear from you. Have you ever heard of them? Did you learn anything new in today's video? And as always, girls, please don't forget to go over and join my email list at hotgirlhealthjourney.com. I send out an exclusive monthly newsletter to my subscribers over there, as well as I have several resources on my website, including my 5-day fibroid meal plan. I also have some of my favorite fibroid supplements and products linked over there. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at hotgirlhealthjourney. Before you go, because I know you didn't think I was going to let you go without suggesting another video, right? So go on over and take a look at this video. I made this video just for you so that you can learn more about fibroids that could help you on your fibroid healing journey. And until next time, guys, I love you guys so very much. Thank you so much for you guys' support, your love, and continuing to make this community a safe space for us fibroid girlies. To see you in those comments, and of course, in another video.